Hello, and welcome to the online instructional modules for U.S. History. Today is Module 3, Enhanced Vocabulary Quizzes. The skills that will be developed with this activity are Social Studies Skill 15, Determining Adequacy and or Relevancy of Information, as well as Common Core Literacy Standard for Social Studies 1112 RH4, Determining the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text, Common Core ELA Literacy Standard for Social Studies 1112 WHST 1D, Establishing and Maintaining a Formal Style and Objective Tone while attending to the norms and conventions of the discipline, and Common Core ELA Literacy Standard for Social Studies 1112 WHST 2B, Developing the topic thoroughly by selecting the most significant and relevant facts, extended definitions, and so forth. What we're going to talk about is vocabulary, the importance of vocabulary. First of all, we can all see the difference between a blunt object and a precision tool. For most tasks, a precision tool will be much better. There are lots of words that could be used to express a certain idea or relate knowledge of a situation, but some of the words will be more like a blunt object. Others will be more like a precision tool. Clearly, we want our students to be using precision tools with their language. This is important not only for social studies, not only for U.S. history, but for all sorts of academic pursuits and also for life. Great communication skills. So I'm going to start with an objective. I have a dream. Maybe you share it. I have a dream that all my students will learn to express themselves more clearly and effectively and written in oral form. How true is that? Hopefully that rings a bell with you. I know for me that is something that always comes to mind, that students should be developing skills in this manner. Let's look at a few examples of vocabulary usage, blunt objects versus precision tools. If I were describing Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, I could say it was good, I could say it was amazing, or I could elevate my vocabulary a little bit to enhance my diction, to be more precise. Saying good or amazing is accurate, but let's see if we can get more precise by saying it was inspirational. Well, now we've got something to think about. Inspirational. Why was it inspirational? Whom did it inspire? We could say it was eloquent. So now we're trying to capture the tone and the diction that he used, his eloquence. We could say it was hypnotic. That's a strong word. It's precise. It calls to mind something that kept listeners in a trance, that drew their attention a variety of different ways. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're using precision tools. This is why vocabulary matters. So how do we test students in vocabulary? Because we have to teach content. We've got lots of standards. We have little time. How do we squeeze in vocabulary? Yes, it's important, but do we have the time? Can we find the time? So let's just say you're going to make a vocabulary quiz. And you say, all right, I've got these words. I want to make sure my students know them. So I'm going to give them a matching quiz. Quick, dirty, simple. Well, the problem is with matching, the students can just make a lucky guess. And sometimes they do. Well, that doesn't really do much for us or for them. We could have them write definitions. But we realize that rote memorization does not equal true learning. They're also more likely to forget rote memorized facts. Now, if we say we want the students to use the word in a sentence, now we're getting warmer. But what kind of sentence? This is where we come to today's activity. Enhanced vocabulary quizzes. Not just use a word in a sentence, but using it in a way that will show content mastery as well as mastery of the term itself. Let's look at a few examples. Some not so good, some decent, and some very good. Instructions. Use the word ratify in a history-related sentence. Okay, so we're having them engage in history, right? Great. Response. Most of the delegates to the Constitutional Convention wanted to ratify the Constitution. Well, is it accurate? Yes. Is it correct? Yes. Does it show thorough understanding? Not really. Ratify could mean a lot of things in that sentence. Also, they don't show much of an engagement with the content itself. So we're doing okay, but we could do better. What if the instruction was, use the word ratify in a sentence that shows thorough understanding of the term? Okay, so really getting it. We want to see thorough understanding. Response. The SGA liked the proposal to allow gum and candy in class, so they voted to ratify it, which made it official school policy. So, yes, they've used the word correctly. They definitely show they understand it, but are they engaging in the content? Are they showing mastery of the historical material that we need them to master? Definitely not. How about this? Use the word ratify in a way that shows your thorough understanding of the term, as well as one element from standard SSUSH 5, which is evaluate the major arguments of the Anti-Federalists and Federalists during the debate on ratification of the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, and the roles of Alexander Hamilton and James Madison. Response could be, most of the delegates to the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia wanted to create a stronger form of government than the Articles of Confederation. This is why Federalists such as Alexander Hamilton and James Madison tried to convince Americans to ratify or approve the Constitution. Now we've got it. Clearly, this student understands the meaning of the term, ratify, and clearly the student knows something about Standard 5. The student is replicating, or demonstrating rather, her knowledge of the material in a way that also accomplishes the vocabulary objective we're trying to achieve as well. Is it accurate? Yes. Is it correct? Yes. Does it demonstrate mastery of the term and of a related element from the GSE? Yes. How to score this? Well, we've got a simple rubric here, 1 point if the student provides an accurate definition, 2 points for using the term correctly in a sentence, and 3 points for the Holy Grail, using the term correctly in a sentence and showing mastery of the designated U.S. history content. Now let's take a look at another example. 3 responses to the same instruction, which would be to use bicameral legislature in a way that thoroughly shows understanding of the term and of element 5C. One example fails to meet the bar. Second example meets the bar. The third shows mastery. A bicameral legislature is one branch of government that has 2 houses, and they make laws. Okay, that's a definition, 1 point. The Great Compromise produced a bicameral legislature. Alright, accurate? Yes. Correct? Yes. But let's go for mastery. To satisfy both the big states and the small states, the delegates at the Constitutional Convention agreed to create a bicameral legislature with the Senate, each state gets 2 senators, and the House of Representatives. Each state's population determines its representation. Mastery. So the student is using the term in a way that shows understanding of the term and historical content mastery. This is the way to go. They're accomplishing far more than they would in some other form of vocabulary assessment. When we take a look at enhanced vocabulary quizzes, we're accomplishing a lot. It's a more rigorous task, therefore, it's more beneficial for the student. We're engaging the students in higher level thinking skills. With Bloom's taxonomy, we're talking about analyzing, relating, applying, drawing connections among ideas. This is some higher level Bloom's. If we were to look at Webb's depth of knowledge, we're talking level 3. The student is selecting Which element can I pull from? Which part of the content can I connect to this term? The student is having to select, to decide, to evaluate, and then to test. Can I use this term in a way that I'm using it correctly, I'm showing I understand the term, and I'm showing historical content mastery? The student is testing his or her own theory, a bit of an experiment, if you will. Part of level 3 from Webb's Depth of Knowledge is the coordination of knowledge and skills from multiple subject matter areas. Is that not what we're accomplishing here? We've got what may seem to be an ELA skill, vocabulary development, along with historical content mastery. So we are cross-curricular, we are integrating, we are asking the students to do more, and as a result they will gain more. Enhanced vocabulary quizzes.